Hey fam, welcome back. Hopefully you're doing good and having a good day. If you're not, please let me know what I can do to help you. Until then, I have a video from Tim Cast. Apparently there's a lot of searches on Google that are skyrocketing when it comes to Civil War. So I figured I would do a part 2 to the video that I did about how we got here and where we're going, because there's a lot to be said, and I think they say a lot of what a lot of people were thinking about. And so this was a few days ago, but let's go ahead and jump into it.
Yesterday, I should say throughout the month, Civil War had a moderate search volume. I can zoom in a little bit more. And of course, it now has maximum search volume. So this is a relative search number. 100 means it can't be higher. That relative to where Civil War was searched for before, this is maximum search load. It was around 50 on average. It's from 0 to 100. Yesterday was 73. It is now at 100. Media is writing about it, claiming Donald Trump.
Civil War has been talked about for a long time now, at least within the past 10 years. I know for a fact that Civil War was being talked about during Trump's first term. Obviously, fears are higher than what they've ever been before, but our fears have also been vindicated because we're not the ones that's calling for violence, right? Those are the leftist morons. Those are the ones that are believing every single thing that they're spoon-fed from media, politicians, celebrities. They're the ones that's committing violence, right? So it wouldn't surprise me right after the assassination, people would start searching Civil War. And this is what they say in the video too, is that we are closer to Civil War than what we've ever been before in our lifetimes. So what I see that's going to happen is what we're already seeing happening is that people are becoming much more vocal. They're becoming more emboldened to carry on what Charlie had started, right? Trying to find common ground. The thing is, though, is that who is going to want to step into that spotlight, because then you could be next, right? There are other YouTubers. I haven't been one myself that haven't received any death threats, and I'm such a small YouTuber, anyways. I don't think I would. I don't think I would really. I don't think many people would really send any death threats to me. But there are other YouTubers that do have quite a bit of a following, and they have been receiving death threats, right? So it's not just politicians, it's not just political analysis. It's been carried over to other places. I remember Nick Merckx got a lot of backlash, and I do believe him and his family both got I do believe him and his family got death threats simply because of the way that they believed, and this was a few years ago. And so you can imagine just how much worse it has gotten since then. I mean, we thought 2020 was bad, and then the largest face that represented civil discourse to find common ground was silenced. So people were either going to continue to get more emotional and act out through those emotions, or they are going to shut down. But I don't see people shutting down. I see people going the opposite direction. I see people getting violent. I see people voicing because the more that people are going to voice their concerns, the more that these radicals are going to see that they are under threat, because they've been they've been listening so much to what they've been spoon-fed that they are legitimately believing and going to continue to believe and going to look for things that confirm their delusional worldview. And in turn, that's only going to escalate. I saw a video on X just a little bit ago today where some dude got arrested because he was vandalizing one of the vigils for Charlie. So we don't really know how much of a problem this is, because they have been kicked off, or because they have done things to get themselves kicked off of other social media platforms. And so they go into other platforms that do not only just allow their rhetoric, but they confirm it. And so I'm talking stuff like Threads, and all of these other places, to which I'm not exactly familiar with, but I do know that they are out there.
Is pushing it to win the midterms, as we showed you with that Common Dreams article. Mother Jones is claiming Jan 6ers are preparing for civil war. Stephen Marsh, who wrote the book The Next Civil War, is published in The Independent, saying, this is exactly what we've warned you about, and we've never been closer. There are a lot of people, prominent personalities, that are going to say, stop, no, and don't talk about it. The unfortunate reality is, as Google proves here, everyone is talking about it. Whether anyone wants to admit it, the conversation has been happening across social media. Yesterday, I think the most common word saw on YouTube was the word war. And I saw people getting pissed off, conservatives saying, stop saying that. But you can't tell people what to comment. I looked at the comments of some of these progressive YouTubers. War, 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 war. Just every other word. On one of our videos that featured...
Here's the thing. Look, I get it. I get it where we were in our emotions, right? We were angry, pissed off, and that is what led me to make my music video that I did yesterday. But we can't stop someone from expressing their First Amendment right as long as they're not breaking the law, right, and threatening, harassing people. I understand the sentiment. I really do, because I was just as angry, if not even more so. Because here's the thing that we all need to understand, and I brought it up earlier. People aren't just mourning for Charlie. People are mourning at what Charlie represented, because Charlie represented the last effort to save this country. Tensions were increasing, they were. But now people don't really understand that this drastically changes the entire nation. We have not had a high-profile assassination like this, I would say, since Kennedy. The difference is that when Kennedy was assassinated, all of America, or at least most of America, did unite. Rightfully so, because I do believe that he was a good president. But now America is so divided that with this happening and people either shutting down or doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, acting out emotionally, I think it stands to reason to really say that this is going to get a whole lot worse. You know, and like I said, we thought things were bad. We haven't seen anything yet. So I think America is at its end. That's what I think. I'll be very honest. I think America is at its... I don't want it to be so. I don't want any violence. I don't want any Americans, left or right, to lose their lives over something that was constructed by these oligarch fucking fascists who want nothing but to control and steal and lie and only enrich themselves. I don't want to see any of us tear ourselves apart. It's exactly the bit. This is the biggest reason for the channel. So I would like to continue to have civil discourse. And honestly, I really think that woke up a lot of people who don't have mental disorders, who were on the left. And I do think that those are the last people that are leaving that political leaning. It's all about open-mindedness. If you keep an open mind, you will eventually become a moderate. You will eventually become a moderate. So you will definitely not be on the left. The left is, it's a mental illness. It is a mental illness that, like, that I have said has become a threat. I believe I said this over the Annunciation shooting. I knew things were going to come to this for a long time now. I was talking about it back in 2015. I was talking about it. So, you see things like this, and it's not going to take too much longer before people have had enough. And we are right there. Oh, we are so close. We are so close. So many people loved Charlie and what Charlie represented. So much so that the entire globe is mourning for Charlie. But moreover, they're mourning America, because America has now come into a new era. So uncertain, but yet the future has never been more clear. I hope that my efforts are not in vain, because again, I don't care what race you are, what sexual orientation that you are, political leaning you describe yourself to be. We all have to come together and find out what the objective truth is. And, well, this is the objective truth. We are the have nots, the average day people who get up, go to work, and we're struggling. We're struggling to provide for our families. We're struggling to provide for ourselves. We have been oppressed by the haves. COVID was one of the biggest examples of that. While we were being locked down and constricted to our homes, corporations were making billions of dollars of profit. And then you have these politicians who allow this to happen, allowed Walmart to continue operating while threatening and arresting small business owners. That is the real issue. And they have done a really good job of convincing people otherwise. And it's only going to continue to get worse. These leftist figureheads like Nancy Pelosi and all those other guys that are trying to shift the blame on mental illness and shift the blame pretty much on their scapegoats for doing their dirty work. They're going to continue to evade, continue to project, continue to gaslight, manipulate people. Then that's only going to piss off more people from the middle and the right. And tensions are only going to keep rising and rising and rising. And this is exactly what they wanted, which is why I also say only use violence when it is absolutely necessary. You do have the right to self-defense, but you are absolutely in the wrong. I'll say it again. You are absolutely in the wrong if you look to be violent, because then you are just like these people. I understand we are in our emotions, but we have to pull ourselves out of our emotions, think logically. If we lose what makes us human, we become the only things that make us animals. So, we can't become animals.
They can't run the risk of leaving any power left on the table. It has to be a complete crackdown, total crackdown. You need to break this and end this forever. Rip it out, root and stem, ostracize. Enough. They've demonstrated they're a death cult. They've demonstrated that they took enjoyment in watching what happened to Charlie Kirk. Enough. We can't live like this. We can't share society with this. This is unacceptable.
So just a quick update. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are on the ground in Utah. There will be a press conference within the hour. We will have that ready to go when it does drop. So we'll be monitoring the situation. And when that
something to what my boy said down here. America has become a culture that breeds different subcultures through the powers that be and the tribalistic nature that we have within ourselves and how emotional we can be, especially today. Just as he said, there is no way that we can coexist peacefully together. Our worldviews are vastly different, way too different. So it's only a matter of time before we start tearing ourselves apart. This is the human animal. This is who we are at our baser instinct. We have waged war on one another since we started evolving. It's never stopped and it won't stop.
Press conference goes live, it will be up and we will watch that. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
No, yeah. I was just saying they can't half bake this. They have to come down as hard as humanly possible because you can't, like I was saying earlier, you can't leave any power on the table. You can't leave them a weapon to grab because they've demonstrated now they're willing to go there. They're willing to take out Charlie Kirk. And like I said, Charlie Kirk's politics represent probably a majority of Americans because it's very sensible conservative politics. They say the penalty for holding those beliefs is death. So no, they can't half bake to say they come in hard and end this forever.
You know, the Yankees had that moment of silence. I think it was a moment of silence for Charlie.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Here's the thing too, is that you can't ban people off of social media platforms. And I know I might catch some shit from this, but just hear me out. You can't sit here and ban people from expressing their viewpoints on the death of Charlie. Now, it's one thing if they are cheering for the death of Charlie and calling for more death. That's a different story. They should absolutely be investigated. And the FBI should absolutely come down super hard on these people. But it's another thing when you honestly believe what you are hearing from the left and you see what happens to Charlie, and then you say, oh, well, you know, he spread hate. We cannot ban these people because then they're going to go to other places that are going to continue to drag them down into a deeper delusion. Again, two very different people, the people that are cheering for his death and then the people that honestly believed what they have been told about Charlie, and they just comment very calmly. But the thing is that that's not most of what we're seeing from the left. We have a First Amendment right. We may not like what people have to say sometimes, but we absolutely have a First Amendment right, and we should not be attacking it. So, again, I might catch some shit for that, but I think it needs to be said. I really do. I think it needs to be said. But we can't ban people. What we can do though is we can ratio these people into fucking oblivion. We can do that. We can let them know through our voices and the facts that we give, links, sources, all kinds of shit. Let them know very clearly that you are wrong. But then again, what I also believe is that the people who had an open mind, especially the people who went and really cared to have a conversation with Charlie, well, those people have already been freed from the mind prison. And so majority of what we have left are the leftist loonies who only want death and violence. So that's all I'm going to say there. There is one thing that I do want to say too before I sign off. Please make sure that you are protecting yourselves. Pick up any means that you have to defend yourself. If you happen to have any questions, let me know. I'll do the best that I can to help you out. But train. I'll leave you with some of the best advice I've ever received in my entire life. There was an MTI I came across before I went into the Air Force. He was an old head. I think he was an MTI back in the 70s and 80s, I believe. And he had told me, he said, if you want to make it, and if you want to stay safe, train and train hard. But listen to this. Train as if someone is out there training to kill you. Because they are. And I live by that every single day. Every single day. Train your mind. Train your body. You don't know where the threats are. You don't know when the threats will come about. So you want to be ready. And with that, I'll leave it there. I don't know when this whole thing will blow up. Again, I don't want civil war. I don't think any of us really do, except for the leftist loonies. I've seen too much war myself. But sometimes you can't choose the wars you fight. Sometimes you're forced to fight, even when you don't want to. That being said, please take care of yourselves. If this video helped you out, please like, share, subscribe. Join the family, guys. I'd love to have you join. We are trying to collect everyone to come together, to join together hand in hand to figure out what the real problems are and to move forward to pave a better future for us, to change the culture. That is the mission that we have. And you're not white, you're not black, you're not Asian, you're not gay, you're not straight. You are American. You are my brother, you are my sister. You are my family. And families should not be fighting amongst themselves. So that being said, take care of each other. That's all we have. Take care of yourselves. As I was saying earlier, mind and body. I wish you all a very lovely day. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys. Love you all.